back to SaltyyShow, and welcome back to our Palmyra campaign on Total War Rome 2 Empire Divided Episode 10. Hope you guys are doing well today, and if you are, like and subscribe as always. And welcome back to the campaign that gives me almost as much nightmares as my Aksum campaign, but for different reasons, as we just have a lot of achievements writing on this campaign. So every time I start recording is another 30 to an hour long session of potential achievements to lose. So we've already lost one, sadly, with the battle over here, if we can see it. Well, yeah, the battle of Hatra, where they beat us. Or my bad, it's right here where we lost, right here. The battle of Tigranasota, defeated by Media. We did beat that army in the last episode as we defended Edessa and our eastern border while plagued by enemies across the board. We're fairly strong, especially at Hatra. Hatra has a extremely strong legion. Edessa does as well. In fact, the defenders of Tadmor are really the only concerning force that we don't have. Obviously, the rest of our borders for now are okay. I wish we could get some of our allies in on the fight, or some of our Arabian allies and forces that could engage the Sassanids from other directions, but that is not to be the case. They are our enemy and our enemy alone for now. And one thing we also need to worry about is Galatia turning on us, and they don't have an army right now, which would be... If we didn't have Armenia to contend with, I would be for sure targeting Caesarea and taking it, because Lydia, by far, has been a far more competitive enemy and valuable friend now, as they own most of the Asia province. But without further ado, enough dilly and dally. We are going to engage the enemy, and I do think we're going to try to engage the smaller force first, so that the army is reinforcing.
As you request. Now,
this could be dangerous, and we still have to fight this force if we can't delay them, because they could move around and take Pessinus. Pessinus?
The queen is ready.
But without further ado, let's see what happens. Okay, so initial odds are a success. Their army is rather low tier, and ours is extremely veteran at this rate. This is not an inexperienced legion, but we still do have quite a few Armenians to kill. So without further ado, let's get to the bloody business. Welcome to the brutal battle, everybody, of today's episode. Up in the hills of Asia Minor today, as we've got quite a rough battlefield to partake in, as the Armenian forces, one army is deployed up here in this sanctuary of the tallest hill or the tallest mountain even. This would definitely be a mountain, while the reinforcements are coming from across the map. So we have quite the foyer ahead of us, or foyer ahead of us. I feel like both those terminologies are broken. So I've deployed our forces into two chunks. One led by the cohorts, supported by some peltas, gonna bring up the front to protect our archers. Meanwhile, the rear guard, some peltas, pikes, and the more veteran legionaries. Meanwhile, our cav will be in reserve for a good chunk of this engagement. But we want to single out the enemy skirmishers, and particularly if the general is going to try and get some early damage on us, we are surely going to try to help him get to the early grave that he so wishes to. He's actually already got... Oh! And there he goes. I think he took a javelin to the knee, and we decimated their first general, leaving the rest of the force led by, I believe, a Azat Knight foot general somewhere. But they are trying to still group up, meaning they're not going to try and move too much. And as you can see, they've tried to deploy all the way across the map. But we are going to, yeah, I'm trying to be very defensive with our spearmen, using them to soak up the damage if we can, and hopefully have a lot of those, have all that damage go into these huge shields. And I do love the reskin. I really, really do. So we've beaten them back, and now we're going to form up the rest of our force here and make use of this hilltop terrain that we have. We're going to let our men get into position. I'm going to try and send forward our archers here to engage the couple of horse skirmishers that we have sitting about, while we slowly deploy our forces in quite a unique area. I'm not going line for line. I'm doing my best to keep our men to move up, our infantry to move in a block formation as they get closer and closer. I'm also repositioning our horses and our chariots to hide in the forest over here to make sure that the enemy doesn't think about going after them. Meanwhile, now we are getting a bit of a ground. We've traded positions with them to the point where I feel decently confident in forming a standard wall. Defensive testudos up, though, as we know these Easterners game now. Lots and lots of javelins. In fact, you guys, you might want to... I mean, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. It's proving to be effective. But our range is doing their job as well as our skirmishers or our defensive men brace and take the javelins like champs. We did lose a couple men, but their infantry is approaching, and with it our men must prep. Taking a hail of javelins is going to be the least of their worries now, but our men, our legionaries, will hold for the most part. Our main lines have been engaged. Our rear lines yet to be. But we are trying to let them have it. And our peltists, once they use their javelins, are some decent swordsmen, especially going downhill. So they're going to fill the gaps where we need, because our forces are primarily superior to theirs in every way. They just outnumber us a lot. And as you can see, they are trying to make use of that. They're swinging around us, and when they really do start to focus fire, they can do a number to your men. But for the most part, we are countering the enemy rather well for now. The biggest thing to worry about is this big group of infantry coming around the mountain, so I'm deploying our pikemen in a bit more of a defensive position, and I'm pulling our cav around. But our archers are doing a really good job of dealing with any of their proper ranged units. And up the hill these hillmen come. They are actually going to get down into our pikemen just a little bit, unfortunately. Thankfully nothing too severe. Meanwhile, we have caught these poor Easterners all by themselves, and in a bit of a pincer, this poor Eastern Spear unit is just not going to survive. And that's a good thing, because we don't need them to. We need all our forces over here quickly, because they're concentrating their army rather quickly. It is now a brutal slog. Or slug. Slog? Slug. I don't know. It's brutal, though. Our peltists are acting as really good filling the gap units. I'm glad I kept them. They're giving us a nice sword and board, comparatively speaking, to our legionaries and our spearmen. And I kick to the balls and then a stab to the neck. Nice. Ooh, a shield flip. Lovely. So lovely. God, I love Rome 2. And getting back into Empire Divided, I have played the DLC before, but getting into it again has been a treat, especially with so many achievements in mind. This legionary unit is actually kind of caught out between a horseman and the Easterners, but we are surviving. And we're about to start thriving. We've dealt with the enemy in our rear. Our pikemen are going to redeploy to the front line, and our forces of horses and camels are now free to reign against the enemy in their rear, chasing off some of their ranged, but more importantly, we need to start breaking these blobs of spearmen. And you can see the general here as his Azat knights are clad in armor. And they are going to be, they're going to prove to be the deadliest unit, of course. But you can see some of their forces are routing already, as our camel forces are getting into the rear of the enemy. and are really going to start letting them have it. Fighting up this hill has been brutal. Ooh, very nice. Take his head. You have the upper ground. Come on. Oh, bingo. Didn't really make contact with his face, but it's fine. And as you can tell, I'm trying to use our chariots here. But this terrain does not prove to be very beneficial to chariots, so we're going to be very careful with that. We are mopping up a lot of their rear line, though, as you can see. And we're chasing off their last few cav units. And we've started to... our core archers are going to get a little bit of a tasty charge there, but that's fine. We're going to pull them out. This unit of spearmen on the far right flank got a bit overwhelmed, so they're a little busy. Fighting on both sides is not an easy task, but thankfully they're just superior in every way to the units they are fighting. As you can tell, I'm still using Zenobia as she is shouting commands. But with it, I do believe that was quite a good chunk of their army is going into a chain route. Yes, their left flank here is routing. We've made quick work of the spearmen that attacked our archers, slaughtering them in, and catching that army. And with it, all that remains is the general himself. And with all our forces focused on him, he's not going to last too much longer. In fact, there he is right there. I don't think he actually loses his life in combat. Yes, he routs. And that is a victory for us. And another one for our mighty legion. Okay. One victory down, 2 Armenian hordes slaughtered. We did take quite a few casualties, but our legion is, for the most part, up and running, and we can actually get quite a bit of money by releasing captives, so we're going to.
Make haste.
That force will pull back. We're going to be able to level her up again, granting us either a tier 3 granting growth and a public order boon. We don't need that. Force concentration, 3 cunning, 24 campaign. That's pretty good. That's pretty nice. Oh. I tried muting myself. You all caught the tail end of that, so I do apologize, but... Let's take a look. We've got her ability leveled up to where she's a bit of a fighter, which she is. We do throw her in there. Ooh, that's pretty good. That is pretty nice. Replenishment rate, ammunition, upkeep. That's morale for everybody. But that minus 10% morale for all enemy troops, that is pretty good. And it goes up to minus 30 and intimidate. Yeah, grab that, yeah. She needs to be... She's scary. Now, we could almost see... Now, this is terrifying. This is the battle I'm worried about. They have a base morale of 38. We have a base morale of 35, with they're actually stronger. But we do outrange them. So if our Vigiles can just hold the line... 6 slingers versus... They've got 3... Ooh, they actually... They might outrange us.
Ready for orders.
I mean, we cannot... There's a 12% chance that she dies. Give it a shot. Oh, it worked.
Succeeding is what I do.
Good job. So they are impaired. Minus 32% campaign movement rate, so they can barely move. There's only one army here. I wonder where they might go. So let's move here. So I don't think.
Ready for battle.
All right, there is a sliver of a chance that they could slip through that.
Ready.
But I don't want to leave the reinforcement circle. Anchor you can't hold by itself.
I fight for
Okay. Oh, we could push to Nicomedia immediately.
as you request.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. That would secure. That would finally push them out of the west, and the only issue would be is it would link us to the Gothai, and treaties with Lydia is just not good.
Well met, friend. Sit and let your words move me to anger or agreement, as you wish of them.
Trade. We'd make money out of that. It would take just 2 turns.
I am
Damn.
sure that your wares will find a home somewhere, but not with us.
Alright, they're not.
Your offer was kindly, but we have no need to share glory. Our ancestors were proud men and
Yeah,
stood
yeah,
alone
yeah.
against the world. For
They're
I
not gonna-
thank you for the
They're not
offer,
gonna take anything,
but
are
we
they?
are not wet nurses for weaklings.
They're not.
I cannot say yes and be anything but a mouth friend. That sits ill with
Damn, dude. They really.
Our ancestors were proud men and stood alone.
We can't break bread with anybody to the south. Rome still has quite a bit of territory left, so I wouldn't say they're on their way out.
You are welcome.
Confident and devious, that's not good. You're dependable, but you're aggressive, and you don't like us, which is just not good. God, I would love to make friends with you.
Greetings! Speak plainly and without idle purpose, and all will be well. A sure thrust strikes home after all.
I am terrified of the Gothi. $600, what does
I
that
can
do?
sense that my gods
11,
smile on
okay.
us and our agreement. This is an honorable thing.
That's not horrible. Does that sway you in any way?
I am sure that your wares will find a home somewhere, but not with us.
No. They are at least now neutral.
As you command.
She needs to go spy. Okay. So there's actually, they have an Armenian little navy there, but let's dilly-dally. We need to take Nicomedia. And we will slaughter this army very, very quickly, but you all won't see the battle, so no worries. And a bingo, bango. Couple Armenians slaughtered. And we take it.
Any further
We
requests?
should be able to walk into Nicomedia, almost.
I am listening. None will escape.
2 turns. I'd rather we're gonna secure Nicomedia too while we're at it. I do apologize about the cuts here, guys, but I know you don't really want to see a battle against 2 skirmishers. And finally, I think we can stop doing the constant cuts. Fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed. I do think we're gonna. It actually looks like it has our settlement. I mean, the brickstone looks bad, but let's occupy
I am listening.
and see what we get. Never mind, it is all wrong. It's all not our culture. Great. Well, son of a gun. Thankfully, we are at least getting a little bit of something, but we have secured Nicomedia, and it's not too shabby. Yeah, lots of benefits that are gonna work
As
towards
you
our
request.
favor. The army did level up. Do we want to continue working towards that, or we want to? Let's look at what are the other traditions that we can get. I've seen dread ambushers before. Keepers of the peace. Raiding armies. Okay. Defenses. Armor. Defense. Weapon damage inflicted by all army. 3 missile. Okay, so that would... I wonder if that stacks. Charge campaign for all cav. Attack for desert battles. Sadly, we're not in the desert. Upkeep reduction would be nice. Upkeep for auxiliary units. Minus upkeep for all land units. That right there. That's pretty good that we can continue working towards. I do apologize. Winston is having a blast right now with his bone against the desk of my, the corner of my desk. So that is looking a little nicer. We have managed to knock Armenia back a peg.
A flapping tongue that speaks without wisdom
I would
is not welcome.
really...
Be like a spear and have a point. Ha ha!
Damn. I'll say I'd really
I am sure
love
that your wares will find a home somewhere.
to establish some form of friendly connections with the Gothi. Because we're not getting it from anybody else.
To be disturbed by foreigners?
And I doubt they're gonna...
Arms you want.
No, they're definitely not gonna take peace either. That's fine. Let's go ahead. We're gonna get... We do get a garrison. It needs time to replenish. It's actually the same garrison, which is nice, considering it's a foreign province. Oh, it is Roman. It's just not our Roman, I think. That is why. Yeah, I was gonna say, that doesn't make sense. Alright, and you guys are still happy. We've blocked them off.
We're ready.
I'm almost tempted to let that be, so that maybe we can work towards this city being built up a little bit. And potentially... I mean, this is really the only scary thing, the fact that there is a force there. And I'm not the most well-equipped person to take on a navy. And we cannot lose battles. That is the big thing. We literally cannot lose battles, so we need to be careful with that. Now we could try to reinforce. Getting some eastern pikes inside would be really good. Where else is our money needed? Is there anything we can spend a short bit of cash on to make anything actually happen? You could try to take that, but I do fear it would put Samasota at risk a bit more than where we want. Auxiliary Eastern Pikes. We have seen them before. Ours are 118. I believe theirs is only like a 20-something difference. 20, 30 points. Oh, man, but they're very vulnerable. They're really cheap, though. But we do have quite a sizable army already in position. So I'm really thinking it wouldn't be necessary. This force here, this legion, actually, I lie, it's not even a force, it's a legion. It's a proper battle army. I think we do have to continue defending, just because if Zenobia can make her way here, we can eventually link up at Asia and completely eliminate the Armenian threat from the west of our empire. And that would free up one real legion, then one legion that would need some work to be called a proper legion. But it would free one up nonetheless. With all that said, sanitation, culture, recruitment, that's not too important. Hatra could give some Persian cav. Upkeep of 130, upkeep of 80. Is that... We don't actually have any cav here. If we upgrade that, we are going to get a stronger garrison too. 3 turns. 3 turns. Let's actually go for it. Hatra's a bit of a defensive point. And if we can reduce the Legion upkeep for Hatra, that would be great. That would be absolutely lovely to do. Without further ado, let's finally get our intern in there. Alright, with the intern over, nothing happened of note other than a lot of disruption on Hatra, but thankfully the army is still okay. I'm glad to see that fleet did pull back. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't think there's much we can do. We could get some yeah, Pontic Cav, that's a unique unit. That's pretty cool. I do think we're gonna get that. We're gonna just bide our time with that force. Thankfully, this Armenian army has decided to go through the hill pass here. I don't know what their plan is necessarily,
We're ready.
but it really makes me want to march here and try to trap them.
For the people.
Like right there,
On the move.
to make sure they cannot come back. They have to attack
We're ready.
this force, and it will be garrisoned. They only have about 7 range, which are going to be far less effective going against a fort. The only concern is... So this fleet can't do it. We have a sizable army. We have recovered. We could not get there, though, without taking too much movement. We could go here, and that would allow them to pull back to Sinope. -10, damn. That is still quite a bit. That's gonna go down, though. Eventually take 17 away from that. That'll be pretty good. And I legit might let that actually build just so we can get some public order. Now, with that said, are we confident? They're gonna have a lot of javs, but this army definitely outranges them. 4 peltis, 3 archers. Our cav is superior. Their infantry is weaker. I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident. Let's try to move it there, and we can still fortify, I think. You know, I'm not gonna risk it. I'm not gonna risk it. I don't want them to escape. They are now cornered, and they will die next turn. If they do not attack Zenobia by herself, they will fall. Alright. With that said, we have a bigger threat. Bactria has crossed the river here. I believe this would be... This is the Unitas, because this is the Tigris. I'm almost certain. So they have crossed the Unitas, or Euphrates, however you want to pronounce it. So we need to do a bit of a repositioning of the Legion.
Speak. Any further requests?
We need you to garrison Dura Europus. You're going to garrison Hatra. So it's still going to be a 17 stack.
For the people.
The only thing I'm worried about with the fact that is our general's the only pike unit we have. These armies, I'm not worried about. This one can't reach us. This one does appear to be primarily melee.
Speak.
And not
I'm listening.
the best melee, so
Ready for battle.
fingers crossed they'll hold, or fingers crossed, even better, they try to take Edessa or something, you know, something stupid like that. This army, I'm not too worried about holding against this force, against the invasion, but we do need to deal with this army. So with that said, it does appear we have enough range. I'd be more concerned about getting our cav up to stuff. Or we could try to go blob and just get some vigiles to outbeat them, but I think we're gonna try... I say that. I don't think... It's so risky. It's so risky.
We hunger for battle.
We could always try to recruit units or mercenaries if we needed it to attack them. So perhaps we'll look at that, because I really want to try to broker peace or some agreement
is not welcome. Be like a spear
with the
and
Gothi.
have a point.
So what we're gonna do,
Well, no.
cultural
we see
affinity,
little
okay.
gain in trade between our peoples.
We're gonna try and offer another gift and see what happens. This could be a waste of money.
I accept
It was, damn. Oh no, it was not, it was not, okay. It was not. Good. So we're at 22 negative. If we can continue boosting them up, we might have a chance. But for now, let's end the turn and see. Ooh, I almost forgot. Let's move our spy. We need to move our spy back to Armenian provinces, because while we're defeating their armies over here, they're going to start recruiting new ones in their home province, probably. Now we can end the turn and see what the General Narseh here will do. The Shah, he is the king, actually. We'll see what he does, as he's now encircled in this hill pass by the legions of the Palmyran Empire. Narseh has tried to break out as we expected. He's attacking the weaker legion led by Chloe Gracia here. All of the fate of Galatia lies on her shoulders to make sure she wins this. It doesn't look too good in our favor, but let's see if the fort will turn the tide of battle. I don't enjoy seeing the long distance graphics there, but welcome everybody to the battlefield and the fort, where I believe the General Graca or Gracia must hold with her army. And it's quite a bit of a monstrosity, but I've done the best I can, making sure the enemy can only come in from one direction. Particularly making sure that even if they do come in from this one direction, that they are going to struggle, and that they're going to get quite a bit of range damage on them. And then a lot of their weapons are going to hit our fortifications, particularly our rear lines here too, yeah. And even apparently something there is stopping them. It is a bit of a hazard for some of our forces, as it is an organization mess. But we do have, thankfully, both other sides are completely walled off and defensive, so we have quite a large number of troops that are going to soak up a lot of the damage here. Unfortunately, the poor Vigiles are going to be the brunt of it. That poor young man. Not going to do too hot. But we have engaged the general. Ooh. Oh. Yeah, they are going to take a lot of casualties. But our skill set is going to maintain that. We're going to hold this position, knock the general out. We are going to focus down the general. I don't actually see where he's at, but I know he's somewhere. Maybe he's in... Maybe he's on the front line here. Either way, thankfully they are going against the Vigiles. So, while it's costly, our most cost-effective unit is fighting the enemy. Unfortunately, they are getting quite a good amount of javelin kills on our poor men here. I'm pretty worried. Our squares aren't looking too hot right now. Is that the general? Maybe that's the general. They all look the same to me. But his numbers are dwindling. With it, though, I do think, we're going to need to bolster this front up, as their hillmen are coming in now, and their Armenian spears. They're funneling through the little bit of an opening that we've given them. So it's now a sizable brawl. Thankfully, our brave Vigiles will hold. And our slingers are actually doing a pretty good job at focusing down the general, and also anything that sits above a man's height. bit of a brutal slog here. But I do notice that, you know, we're going to run out of forces. We can't do this. We need to actually utilize... We need to utilize our forces. And that's what we're doing over here. We're breaking down the barriers here to allow our forces to slip out the back with what few units we can spare to slip out the back and flank the enemy. And we are also we're gonna grab a couple of our slinger units. Speaking of slingers, their archers are actually targeting our general, which is just an annoying tactic, and thank God our general gets lucky because they are doing a significant number to her. But as you can see, our main line broke, so it's up to the surrounding units here to hold the enemy back. It's the one thing our vigilantes are good at, is defending. Sorry, I had to tie my shoe, but you all got to just watch some action. We are consistently, we do have reinforcements coming in and able to sort of help hold the line, but and I do notice our general is being targeted, so we're going to pull her all the way back, and our forces have slid around the side here. So we are going to speed it up. I do apologize about the lag. What is going on? Yeah, wow, that was rough. I can see they've committed. They've committed a solid bit here. But they are holding pretty effectively. The worst part is just the amount of range that they have. Which is why we're sending our forces around, is to deal with the ranged units. They do notice our flanking maneuver, but too late for them to counter anything, as we're going to start peppering them back. And sending our infantry around to start triggering some morale penalties. Oh, yeah, like that. And then our lovely rear charge, where hopefully we'll be able to slaughter the enemy. And with that, it's going to start triggering a couple of morale penalties on the enemy. And we are going to sacrifice one of our Vigila units to chase off the skirmishers, while the rest of our boys get in here on the action and give the appearance that the enemy has been surrounded. And without a general, that's really going to trigger some problems for them. Despite the overwhelming superiority that they have in numbers, or well, they've balanced it out for sure. Ooh, over the shield. I love that animation. I just saw it happen 3 times. That is hilarious. We are breaking them, and our slingers are actually going to deploy a little closer to start hitting the enemy. But as you can see, a mass rout is ensuing. Just a couple more units to break. I do believe, though, once this cavalry unit runs, yeah, the infantry here, you can see it. Their flags are wavering. Their men are running. And it is time that we pursue the enemy and make sure that they don't get a easy bargain or a easy escape. With that, the last bit of bastion of their defense breaks, and victory is ours. Oh, and I did promise 2 battles in today's episode, and 2 battles we definitely had. 2 victories. It was touch and go there for a minute, everybody. I was pretty worried. Let's release those captives to get that cash, and they're gonna go back and forth. and the army is really no more of a worry. Zenobia. Oh, that scared me. Okay, so they've decided to take Hatra. Oh, and the garrison, the agents. Oh my god, they have diminished the garrison so much. Oh my god, don't tell me we have 4 slingers. Oh no, guys. Eastern spearmen are nothing. The Eastern infantry do have javelins, that's a concern. They have 2 archers, 1 jav, 2 slingers. They have more range, 3 hillmen. Oh, this isn't looking good. Oh, this isn't looking good at all, folks. Holy crap. Oh no, we have a surprise 3rd battle. Let's see if we can survive. Welcome, everybody, to the Siege of Hatra. One that I was aware of, but definitely did not expect to be so close. Especially the agents really did a number to our poor garrison. That we're gonna have to factor that in. That is going to definitely need to be factored in. But as you can see, we're already making quick work of their general down here as we've basically blocked the. We know the way the AI is gonna go. They love going this route. Even if they go this way, they're always gonna end up over here. They never really go this way, and then they funnel through here. So we are going to make use of that. And definitely stay tuned to the end of the battle as things get pretty dicey. Immediately we're having to move our generals to make sure they stay hidden, because the AI, if given the chance, continuously targets our poor general. I mean, it's the same thing that we do, but still, it's not fun. How dare they try to target my leadership? Which I do see, they're breaking through over here rather quickly, so I'm reforming our lines to prep for the incoming mob of our Bactrian forces. God, that is a horrendous noise. Yeah, I did not expect this garrison to have to fight so tooth and nail. Our slingers are taking some archer fire back, so we're going to need to deal with them too. But for now, everything else is going according to plan. And they are breaking through. Yeah, you can see them slowly slipping through the breakages. Well, at least you know who's on whose side, I guess. Trying to keep our generals safe. As they are making their way, they are through the defenses over here. It did cost them a general, but they are returning the favor by eliminating some of our slinger units. Which is not good considering we need every unit we can get. And we need to actually start rotating our slingers out for archers the same way they did. But we are going to start focusing down their skirmishers now, since their infantry blob has made it around. And we're going to reposition some of our forces to make sure our skirmishers get to use the most of their javelins. Meanwhile, over here, it is a full-on brawl now. They have made it through the barricades. They're fighting tooth and tooth. And I do regret this wall here that I built, as we'll see in the battle later on. We are dealing with our skirmishers, though, rather quickly. And our javelins are going to start getting some lovely kills. There's no real units that we need to target. They're all low-tier hillmen or eastern spears. So it's just make sure your shots count. They are flanking around this way just a little bit. But for the most bit, we're okay. We are going to move some of our skirmishers out here to aid in the defense of this side, since these guys are not really a concern. As you can see, we are sending a vigilante unit to try and flank this blob. We don't expect them to come around anytime, though. We just get to watch spear and board fight spear and board. These poor men, all both drawn from the lower classes and told to fight and defend the cities. Our Vigiles, I guess, are a bit more of a organized force than, well, they're just Eastern Spearmen. They're not levies, so, and Eastern Infantry, so I guess they're proper skirm, low-tier, lighter infantry units, while ours are city garrison, city guard. I am trying to keep our general out of range of any of their skirmishers, as it is getting kind of dicey over here. With them coming around this side, we do get forced into a square formation to prevent being flanked. And we're going to use our skirmishers to aid in the assault. Our slingers are making very quick work of their javelin men, though. And unfortunately, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This was way more annoying than I expected. Way more annoying. It would have been quicker to send them up and around. But yeah, we are kind of getting a little low on this side. They're flanking around, so we're going to send our general in here. If it wasn't for this general, this battle would not have been the best. But we are sending our men in there. Now, our general, they are tried and tested, battle-hardened veterans. They also have really long pikes, so that's pretty beneficial. But the big concern, while this is scary, over here is a concern, considering our Vigiles have been overwhelmed and do not have the morale to hold out. They're doing a number, but they are completely outmanned. And our slingers are going to start running out of ammunition. Our skirmishers, while effective and causing some routing, they're losing their edge. Especially with that Vigile unit routing, the rest are sure to follow. Yeah, as you can see, the Eastern Spearmen, realizing where we are coming for us now. And they are actually focusing quite heavily on our last remaining Vigile unit. And if you notice, that is the last unit we have to guard this pass. The rest are all blobbed up here, including our general. And yeah, as you can see, I'm finally sending these guys around, or trying to. Many of them get stuck, which is just hilarious, but I'm trying. But this northern flank, or this southern flank, depending on how you're looking at it, has all but collapsed, and there are a lot of enemies over here. So with that, we're going to pull our slingers out to try and do a bit of a chase maneuver and eliminate anybody that we can. Because rock against just a shield and no armor is rather effective. But our swordsmen need to join the main bulk, and we're going to have to just do our best. It's going to get rather dicey. This is the second half of the battle that gets real dicey. And as you can see, yeah, these poor lads are all stuck in a wall of hell, basically. These guys don't have it much better. But either way, this flank clearly has fallen. They're coming for us. These guys are doing their own. We don't have a choice. we have no choice but to do our best and deploy a back-to-back fight that we must do back-to-back. There's going to be no city to hold if we can't sort of maintain a nice square here. We are drawing some of their attention here, but not a lot. It'll be up to this bulk of infantry. Oh, dear God, that was disturbing. Eastern infantry, they have javelins. Duly noted. Thankfully, our Vigiles soaked up a good bit of that. So, and they can't flank the Vigiles either because they're protected by pikes on all sides. But our garrison is completely surrounded. We are getting in there with some of our Vigiles, but so many of them got stuck over here that this unit is extremely ineffective. So all that remains are our poor slingers that don't have any ammunition. So we're fine there. But against spearmen or Eastern infantry, they're outmatched. So all that remains is for our general to rally his men in this blob and to tell them to hold and to fight till they cannot fight any longer. And this is where tactics kind of start to break down, and it's just a sheer fight for survival. And these Imperial pikemen really do get their money's worth. They are paying for their upkeep. Especially the ones on the side here, having to fight sword and board. Uh-oh. Will he fall? He's really outnumbered. He's taking a lot of hits. He's not getting any kills either. Oh! Oh, he's getting a little further out there. Uh-oh. Oh, he fell. Damn. Poor guy. Yeah, they have surrounded us. And our poor spearman over here has only drawn away one of their units and is suffering for it too. This is our only saving grace, is the fact that we prepared for this encirclement. And we are losing our ranged contingencies over here too. They actually did do a number to the spearmen, which was surprising. But definitely not a lot. And I never saw where this unit went, but they are chasing off an Eastern Slinger unit. I never saw where they went though. The only benefit we have is their general is dead and ours is living and fighting tooth and nail. As you'll see, the Imperial pikemen base morale, they have 100 morale now, and they're at 342 kills. They are proving their worth as we are slowly but surely breaking this blob against the pikes. It is actually quite effective, and I love it. I love pikemen in Rome 2. I remember originally when the game came out, pikemen were really broken and ineffective. I'm glad they fixed that for the most part. Kudos to this side too, though. I mean, they've been fighting from the beginning, and the only reinforcements they've received were the garrison swordsmen, and they're not a lot. This poor unit is getting surrounded and beaten back, so they're trying to form square. Excuse me, sorry guys. But we are holding. And in fact, we're holding so well that we're starting to break the enemy. Some of our slingers came back, and these slingers are almost as important to this battle as our general was. Well, actually, the general, super important. The slingers, though, send it home. Being flanked even by a unit of only 30 men mean their morale is all but broken. And as you'll see, it starts to trigger a chain rout on this side. We got to just slip around, but we've done it. We've broken this side. Somehow, we have done it. And we are going to try. We're now able to turn our pikemen around to re-assist the forces that have been fighting tooth and nail since the beginning of this battle, and send our slingers into the side there. And slowly make our way in with the pikes. Our slingers, at this rate, are a little broken and beat, but we are going to try and send them around the flanks to seal the deal, as this Vigilate unit does unfortunately rout. Nothing too severe, as they won't be left alone for long, as we have really whittled them down. We still have a pike unit left. And now, here comes our slingers in here trying to chase theirs away. And now, once again, doing what they do best, they're going to trigger a mass rout. And it is about time. This poor garrison has fought tooth and nail. Especially this unit, but with no general and their backs against the wall to their eyes, the remaining few units begin to waver and a chain rout ensues. Somehow, the city, Hatra, remains ours once more. Hold your breath, everybody. Hold your breath. We're not out of the thick of it yet.
My lord would have me
not gonna
propose
pay
a
you.
treaty between
We have bigger. Okay, we did it. Okay. Jesus Christ, that was a hell of a battle. That army is decimated. And, oh, but thank God the Sassanid forces have withdrawn from my vision, and so have the Medians. So all that remains is this Bactrian remnants. And we need to make... I think we need to make moves. We need to make moves, and we need to make moves now. We've secured our west for the most part, but it's time Zenobia finishes her Asia Minor campaign so that we can sweep this way from our north, pushing in here. Well, these forces, our legions in Mesopotamia are running thin. They're not going to be able to continue trading blows like that. This garrison barely made it. Had it not been for the rout, we would have lost. And not to mention that the agent spam is ridiculous. I'm kind of worried about using any sort of mods to prevent that, as I think they're at their max 3-3, but still though, that's getting a little ridiculous, guys. A little stupid, but we've done it. This was episode 10, packed full of epic battles, really important battles. 2 over here in Asia Minor to secure the future of that area, and 1 at the glorious city of Hatra once more, where we still reign supreme, at least for now. But if you enjoyed today's episode, like and subscribe as always. And without further ado, we've managed to make it to episode 10, with almost every single achievement intact except 1. And we are at the end of today's episode. Hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, I already gave out my intro. I will catch you in the next one, guys. Peace out.